Up next on Lights Morning Star, Channel 13 is Pranks Gone Wrong. So today, guys, we're going to be pulling a prank on the director himself, Mr. Miguel Perret. We interrupt your previously scheduled program for this breaking news. As of today, there are still effects from the Holocaust in Europe, such as in politics, religion, and especially the Jewish population. Let's start with a brief history of the Holocaust, the how, the when, the what, and the why. Although if you don't already know about it, where have you been your whole life? Telling us this brief history will be our host, Cadet Gupton. Contrary to belief, anti-Semitism in Europe didn't actually begin with Hitler. There's evidence of hostility towards the Jews a long while before the Holocaust, maybe even as far back as the ancient world when Roman authorities destroyed the Jewish temple in Jerusalem and forced Jews to leave Palestine. But the Jews were treated as if they weren't even human by one man in particular. That man's name is Adolf Hitler, who originally served in the German army in World War I. Hitler, like many other anti-Semites in Germany, blamed the Jews for the country's defeat in 1918. After World War I ended, Hitler joined the National German Workers' Party, which later became known as the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazis. Hitler became obsessed with a pure German race known as Aryans, and needed living space in order for that race to grow. To do this, Hitler took advantage of his rival's weakness and enhanced his party's status and rose from obscurity to power. He was later named the Chancellor of Germany on January 30th, 1933. This was the beginning to the almost near extinction of the Jews as we knew it. In the years to come, Hitler put forth his master plan to get rid of the Jews to have a space for his pure race by setting up camps that tortured, mistreated, and eventually killed millions of Jews. Now back to the station for the effects this still has years later on Europe today. Over the course of World War II, with Hitler in power, over 6 million Jews were exterminated in death camps. One of these camps that is the most popularly known is the Auschwitz concentration camp. In 1933, a total of 9.5 million Jews lived in Europe and accounted for 60% of the world's Jewish population, which was 15.3 million. As of today, most countries saw a decrease in their Jewish population, but not all of them. France was one of the few countries that actually had an increase in its Jewish population. In 1933, France had a Jewish population of around 225,000, and in a recent study it was shown that as of 2015, France had a Jewish population of about 475,000. This increase is mainly due to an exodus of Maghreb Jews from North Africa to France. A study in 2015 has shown that the Jewish population in total has declined around 1.4 million, accounting for less than 10% of the world's Jewish population. Now back to our host for some brief history on politics in Europe, which is another thing affected by World War II. The impact of politics is considered axiomatic because it's so sweeping and vast. The Holocaust is believed to have shattered basic values of Christianity and the rationalism the French Revolution had brought to the world. Following the most horrific of wars, the world underwent a catharsis of sorts and revised its regimes, political borders, and political behavior in democratic, social democratic, and liberal direction, either pursuant to outside coercion or result to victories by local democratic forces inspired by the West, also known as the United States and its allies, were democratic turns that the traditional regimes in Europe, Far East, and Central and South Africa took. There are also many indications that the Holocaust is becoming a new religion of sorts in parts of Western civilization. Now back to the station so we can wrap things up. Well, there you have it, folks. Even years later, the Holocaust is still affecting Europe in many different ways. Religion, politics, and populations are massively affected and most likely will continue to be. Now back to your regularly scheduled program on Lights Morning Star, Channel 13, Pranks Gone Wild. Wasn't that an awesome prank today, guys? I just hope I don't get fired for it later.